Hi, I'm Em, an avid wargamer who runs social media accounts focused on promoting women in wargaming and creating inclusion-positive communities. As well as running women in wargaming events, I wanted to create a series focusing on the variety, creativity and skill of women in our hobby. So join me across this series as we explore the passion and joy women have for our hobby. Rain is a Canadian hobbyist who has been involved in tabletop wargaming for just over a year. She runs Chaos Crafting Corner on Instagram with her husband, showcasing their hobby across painting, building and modelling. In this episode, we speak to her about the armies we love and why community has been an important part of her hobby and journey. Hi Rain, welcome to the Women in Wargaming episode. How are you today?
Fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. Okay, so let's get started. So how did you start your wargaming journey?
Well, when I was receiving my most recent piece of body art, which is this one, it's a big skull thing with a bunch of tentacles, crazy colors.
That's really cool.
Chatting things about Warhammer and like the passion my husband had and the artist had about Warhammer and his childhood and everything. And I was like, you know what? He brought me to our local store. I kind of searched around, kind of diddle daddled. I did not know what I was looking at all, but he started to explain a bit about certain factions. And I was like, what's a faction? And we just had a whole talk and I did a bunch of research. When I got home, I left that store with my first Tyranid combat patrol. And
Nice.
I was like, oh my gosh, all these little buggy guys, and my old opinion. And now I have a different opinion, of course, with playing and assembling and painting them as well. But yeah, like I was just talking about it and I left with an army.
That's incredible.
It's
It's funny
insane.
how so many women are drawn to Tyranids as well, isn't it? Like I can think of so many Tyranids players and painters that are women as well. Like there's something about them that just really appeals to us, isn't there?
It might be the color, it might be just the factor of like it's something we're not used to, women kind of getting involved in like the whole kind of gore aspect or the macabre aspect of it is, and the war aspect, obviously, Warhammer.
Yeah,
It's just fascinating that we have so many individuals in the women's community that absolutely adore Warhammer.
exactly. And that leads me really nicely into my next question, which is what are some of the game systems that you've been drawn to in the wargaming space?
Oh goodness. Not even in the wargaming space, but in general. Right now, my husband bought me a long time ago the Xbox S. It's like probably a couple systems old or whatever. But I only literally play like Warhammer, obviously, and then I play just golf and Game of Life. I'm very boring. Fishing. I'm very boring, extremely boring, but like Warhammer is my number one ride or die. I had a Game Boy Advance SP when I was a little girl, and literally Mario. That was it. That's all the games I was allowed to get. And my first baby here, I think it's called a Pro 200 gaming system. It's
That's
extremely
so
awesome
cool.
baby I got. It has a calculator on the bottom, screen on the top. I decorated the crap out of it because why not, right? Make it pretty as a woman. And just it has two batteries. It's very simple. It's very pixelated, and I still play it to this day.
Yeah.
Even though the sound sounds like a horrible dying moose.
I think there's so much nostalgia when you have game systems like that when you're younger. I remember having a Nintendo DS and I've always played The Sims, which obviously isn't necessarily a war game unless you take the pool ladder away and they die and suddenly it becomes a war game. But there is so much nostalgia to those old systems, and it's really nice that you've got that sort of attachment to it as well.
Oh, for sure. It's very nostalgic, especially being a 90s baby. It's definitely way
Same, same.
back, way back.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so we've touched upon some of the things that I've got for my next question, but that is, what elements of the hobby most appeal to you?
Ooh, I absolutely, as a personal OCD person, assembling the models and cutting them with the little nippers out is honestly, and shaving them down, my favorite part. Painting them's pretty a close second because you can be so creative and so inventive and just you can do any version of anything you want. I've done leapers as Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh,
And
wow. That's
I
incredible.
was
I didn't
just
realize you'd done that.
why not, right? It's like,
Yeah.
just be creative. I've used makeup items and cotton rounds as clouds. It's been amazing. Basing is fantastic because you just get to create a scene in your head and then make it come to life. And that's almost like
Yeah.
a storybook in real life. And my favorite absolute part is painting the rear ends of all of my models and making sure everybody, because you
I
got to
know.
have some butt.
Yeah, what is it with Games Workshop and really sculpting butts on models? Like all of my elder, I'm just like, why have you got such nice bums? Like, how is this fair? This isn't okay.
Pretty please, like, can we just mutate and trade somehow with your biomass? I love it. Like,
Exactly. And let's just touch on like those elemental tyranids that you were talking about, because I didn't realize that you'd done that. So, like, what was the sort of idea behind that? What
oh, I was
inspired you
getting
with that?
bored. I was
Yeah,
getting extremely bored with just kind of using Citadel. I love Citadel app. It's a fantastic reference and a fantastic guide to everything you need to do in order, which is right up my alley. But I was just like, you know what? I have so many darn leapers. I need to do something. And
yeah,
I was, what can I do? Maybe um with my religion, with Wicca and maybe Satanism or something like that. And I was like, Earth, Wind, and Fire are pretty stable in Wiccan culture, so why not make one look like icy, windy, and very blue and very out of the sky almost. I did my hive tyrant out of the sky. It was beautiful. Um yeah, it was stunning. I'll show you later. But yeah, I and then fire obviously oranges, reds, yellows, very sparky, very almost volcanic. And then earth is definitely all the browns and putrid
nice,
Nurgle like colors. And
nice.
it just brings it to life. And then you can just work on the bases and be like, oh, earth, wind, fire. Perfect. Done. So it brings a nice little thing to the table of like, oh, those are different. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Just like I appreciate all the women who do all the bubblegum painting. It's
yes.
very cool. And I wish I had all those bedazzly things.
I know. I'm really lucky that I'm speaking to B as part of this series as well. And she obviously puts all the little gemstones and all the bows on. And I'm also talking to Bubblegum Minis as well. And she obviously does all the pastels as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to speak to both of them. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
inspiration.
Massive fangirl moment for me when I speak to both of them. But anyway, this is about you and your hobby journey. So what is your favourite model that you've ever painted? Because obviously we've spoken a bit about your leapers, but what else have you enjoyed painting?
Oh goodness. Magnus was probably the top tier for me, as
Yep.
well as some of the Tyrannosaurus. And a
Yeah.
lot of speaking of Tyranids, a lot actually. My favorite was painting Tyranids because they're just so universal.
Mm,
I'm trying to think. Hive Tyrant was okay. Tuna Primes are okay, but my Screamer Killer, I loved it. It was my baby. I don't know why I was so attached, but I love that thing. It's not many wounds. I know. I get it. Don't hate. But he just looks so darn cool. Something about him, and I'm usually not into that kind of stuff, but something about him is just sparks me.
yeah, I 100% would not want to meet any sort of tyrannid down a dark alley late at night. Like, I often get asked which faction of 40k I would not like to be real, and it's always tyrannids because I love the look of them, but just the prospect of not being able to, like, deal with this ever hungry bug that can't be reasoned with. You know, you like to think everything else can be reasoned with, don't you? But yeah, but they do look so cool, don't they? Particularly when they're painted up.
I think knights would be pretty scary too. They're pretty gigantic.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty
Well, hopefully we'd see them coming over the top of the buildings as they walk down the street so you could run and hide a little bit. So,
yeah, they're just coming to you.
yeah,
The dreadnought.
exactly. 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 So we've obviously touched on your love of Tyranids and Magnus the Red, but what is your favourite army or even character to play in
Well,
40k?
that's a really hard one.
There's so
I would
many to
have
pick from,
a
isn't
lot of my data books, but I think it's Thousand Suns. Now that I'm thinking about it, although Magnus is quite strong, rubrics have really taken a front stage center with all of the melee and war.
there?
They've really grown. They've got more movement. A lot of good things have come to them, and they're a force to reckon with their weapons as well. Even the ranged weapons are amazing, but painting wise, they were pretty easy to paint, and I could batch paint them pretty fast as long as you got the first or second one down. You have your colors out, you know exactly what you're doing, and they're not a lot of trim, which is usually Thousand Sunsy, but pretty decent to paint other than the Terminators are hell. But yeah.
I bet you were happy when they got their recent re-release as well for
Mm.
10th edition. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that definitely. I purchased that for sure. I couldn't help myself. Even the dice, I was like, I need them. Like they're beautiful. So yeah, it was a lot of changes, but it's mostly for the better,
Yeah.
definitely. And the psychic phase is pretty cool too.
Yeah, I definitely felt that way with Elder as well, with the dice and all the little things. And the Codex was just full of this gorgeous lore as well. And I've heard the T Suns one's very similar, like expanding that lore around them. So yeah.
Artwork even in those books, those codexes, beautiful. Wish we had posters for every single page.
Exactly, exactly. It's absolutely gorgeous and so much effort goes into it, doesn't it? So yeah. So you've obviously spoken a little bit earlier about the fact that you went into a hobby store as your sort of first experience with 40k. So is there a particular hobby store that you found beneficial to your hobby journey?
Oh, definitely. I'm in a very small town. I'm in St. Catharines, Ontario. So if you go right downtown and right where I live downtown, there's a store called Phoenix Rising, and
Oh,
it's a very small store, extremely small. It has a little back room with about maybe I would say 12 tables to game on, and the front is just paint and a couple other board games as well as a lot of Warhammer um, paints and brushes, all you can think of, basing stuff. But they've honestly been crucial to it because, like, they'll always be there for you. Like, no matter what, there's two main employees, and every single time I go in, and I'm mostly the only woman who goes in is me. I get called Miss Rain, and I get called like beautiful things, and they're just so accommodating to me, and they know I know my shit. Sorry for my language. Um, they
it's all right.
still
You're allowed to swear. Don't worry.
they still definitely help with any question I have, even if it's stupid or they might think it's simple or a layman, they definitely just answer it with the best of their ability. They help if I'm stuck, like, where's the paint? Like, where's Death Guard green? And they're like, "Oh, right there." Like, I don't have to look. It's wonderful. They're so small, but they're so big in the community that it's outstanding.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important thing because that's how I got back in. If you remember last year, I know you and I have conversed about this outside of this sphere, but I just walked past Cryptic Cabin and sort of got this bravery up to go in, and I've not stopped going since. And it's nice that there's such a community focus in the smaller stores as well. It's not this big corporate. It's sort of the heart and hub of the local community for nerds like you and I, isn't it? And
Like a
it's a
mom
good
and pop niche.
yes, exactly, exactly. And from speaking to you previously, you've developed some really lovely friendships as well, not just with the employees, but with other members of your community, haven't you? So
For
yeah,
sure. Even just going and not playing, just watching people play
yeah,
games is so beneficial to learning everything about Warhammer. And everybody in that store, in that community who comes in and plays games, obviously all men, they have no problem explaining things to me. They're
yeah.
super friendly and they're just happy that I want to learn in general.
Yeah.
I definitely will go kick some butt with my Thousand Sons army, but tell them what everything's made of. But I'm gonna definitely stick with my store because like it's beyond means fantastic.
Yeah, and I always refer to mine as a hobby home, and it definitely does become your comfort space, doesn't it? And you can just be your full nerdy self and not have to hold yourself back in those spaces as well.
No judgment, basically a family atmosphere. It's so welcoming.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the last question that I've got for you today is if there was one thing you could pass on to other women in the hobby, whether that be a piece of advice or a skill you love, what would that be?
Okay. Actively supporting and lifting up other women in this hobby is extremely crucial. Like
Mhm.
bringing them down will not do anybody any good, but if you bring someone up, even just, wow, that's amazingly painted, or wow, you're such an inspiration to me. Anything positive, even if it's a thumbs up emoji, is always welcome because it brings a sense of community. And no matter what their skill level is in painting or gaming or anything, even just learning or starting out or even 40 years in the hobby, you can never stop learning about it ever. And it's so educational in the same sense as it is fun.
Yeah.
And it really does help like math skills and stuff like that. People wouldn't think a game would actually help things that you use in real life, but it definitely does. It's definitely also a sense of socialization for people who might not get that in normal day life. They can actually be themselves and come out of the house without agoraphobia affecting them or any anxieties and just be themselves and play a fun game with fun people who really enjoy just being there with company and the same mindset. It's just wonderful. So definitely just don't stop learning. Be curious all the time. Don't stop.
100%. 100%. I think that's such a beautiful piece of advice to pass along, and that lifting one another up piece is so important as well. Like there's no point in putting one another down. You know, support is infinite in this hobby if you find the right spaces, as we talked about with the community space, and it can be difficult online, as you and I both know, but actually having that community is so important of other women. So thank you for sharing that. I do
I think
appreciate that.
everyone should join M's Discord because it honestly has saved my life. For a lot
Oh,
of
darling.
situations, a lot of advice and everything, and even all the sections and all the work she has put in to that Discord has gone unrecognized. And I don't think that should be fair because she has honestly been such a pillar in this community and she needs to be recognized for all her hard work.
You are too sweet and too kind, honestly. Um, but yes, is there anything else that you would like to add? Any shout outs you want to give now that we're sort of at the end of our conversation?
Um, I'm involved with my husband in a Instagram page called Chaos Crafting Corner, and
Yes.
we're very chaotic, a lot of coffee, a lot of swearing, and a lot of music, but a lot of fun. And we just like to show off our work, not really show it off, but kind of just give inspiration to other people and how they can paint different things different ways. We both have different styles, so it's really mixed. And so people can kind of see different styles in one page and get some inspiration, even just a little bit. They don't have to follow us, they don't have to add us, nothing. Just if you need anything, DM us. We are open and honest for questions, and we will give the best advice we possibly can. And also, M. Obviously, I'm shouting out M because again, pillar of the community. People, she needs to be recognized. Please, just support her in every way possible because she has done great things for this community.
You are such a beautiful soul, my darling. Thank you. Yes, don't cry, don't cry. So yes,
Oh, if
but
you
on
cry,
that note,
cry, don't even.
But yeah, thank you so much for your time today, Rain. It's been an absolute privilege to speak to you. And yes, everyone go check out her Instagram. I will link it in the bio below. But yes, thank you. And
Thank
we
you.
will see you at the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Women in Wargaming series, and thank you to all of my guests who have appeared this series. If you've enjoyed what you've watched, please consider liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel and following me on Instagram at ElderExarch.